the committee and Canadians how much we're spending or projected to spend on interest on the debt this upcoming fiscal year? Just looking for the number.
Let me just say, because I think it's important to put things in context, that in both...
Minister, my time is very limited. I'm asking if you know the number. You have a lot of officials beside you. Will you tell Canadians how much we're going to spend on servicing the debt next year?
Here's what I think, that it's really important to put numbers in context. Without context, numbers are meaningless. Our debt service charges are low in Canada's historical context, and they are low compared to what our peers in the G7
Thank you for the context. What's the gross dollar value we're going to spend on interest on the debt next year?
And let me again, I really am opposed to fiscal fear-mongering by the Conservatives. And so the important point to make for Canadians is that in historic context, our debt service charges are reasonable and sustainable,
respectfully,
and
Minister,
lower than they have been in many previous years. That's why S&P reaffirmed our AAA rating.
I'm asking, will you tell Canadians how much we're spending on the debt? It's in black and white in your book. Do you just not want to say?
I think that it's important to put all numbers in context.
Thank you, Minister. I'll move to the next question.
And do you not agree that in historic context, our debt service charges are absolutely handleable?
For Thornhill.
Canadians are grateful that the finance minister has finally returned to Canada. Inflation and higher interest rates are really challenging for a lot of people. That means one of my principal responsibility is not to pour fuel on the flames of inflation. So fiscal responsibility is really important. Mr. Speaker, those are the words of the finance minister just 9 weeks ago, who can't bring herself to answer basic questions about why her budget is the exact opposite. She's gone into hiding, trying to distance herself from her own government. Canadians want to know if she's going to answer the question, and if not, will she get out of the way so Conservatives can just take over?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I am not, our government is not going to let Conservatives get away with ridiculous and transparent efforts to mislead Canadians.
She's right here.
The fact is that the presence of Canadian ministers, and this week the presence of our Prime Minister at a G7 meeting, is doing our job for Canadians, and Canadians know it. Now, when it comes to our budget, Mr. Speaker, you know who I trust to rate our fiscal responsibility? The ratings agencies. And S&P reaffirmed our AAA rating.
The Honourable Member for Thornhill.
I'll welcome her back to Canada again. But here are the actual facts. Every Canadian family will now pay $4,200 more per household for her spending spree. Housing prices have doubled. Food bank use is at record highs. Canada accumulated debt faster than almost every other advanced country, but our economy underperformed nearly all of its counterparts, and we have the lowest projected GDP growth of any, GDP per capita growth of any advanced economy for the next 30 years. Why does she continue to spread this falsehood? We can't spend our way to prosperity, so will she keep running away from questions, or will she just get up?
The Honourable Minister for Housing.
You can tell when the personal attacks are increasing that it's proportional to the lack of ideas that actually help Canadians. When you look at housing supply, we're the party that has enabled more Canadians to access affordable housing, as well as more access to the dream of Canadian home ownership through the